It's your boy A1 from Day One here with my very first reaction video. I'm genuinely excited to go into 2026 on this journey with y'all. So I appreciate it. I hope y'all had a blessed happy holidays. You feel me? So with that being said, man, we're gonna go ahead and jump into this video. The original link to the video will be in the bio. Let's get it.
This Russian TikTok bodybuilder injected his arms with petroleum jelly for clout. And now, years later, he's undergoing surgery after surgery to cut out pounds of rotting tissue. And the worst part is, he might actually
First of all, was it worth it? That shit's stupid as fuck. What the fuck?
lose both arms. Who would have thought that would have been a bad idea? Permanently skipping arm day and just deciding to fill your arms with Vaseline? I mean, come on, this is a pretty basic life test. Don't inject your arms with foreign objects or foreign substances, because unfortunately, this guy is just yet another influencer who's a prime nominee for this year's Darwin Awards. I haven't seen this guy in ages, though. I remember him years ago. Once in a while, I get some cursed Instagram post about him, pray it was fake, and then move on with my life. But unfortunately, this is a very real story. So meet Kirill Tereshin.
Yo, that shit is cooked, brother. This nigga thought this was Luke Maxon, bro. Like, what is this? What the fuck, bro? The right arm looked like a piece of ham, G. That shit is crazy.
Who goes by a few different nicknames online, depending on who you ask. Some people call him Russian Popeye because, you know, of the comparison. He literally
that's
looks
disrespect
like
to
a Popeye
Popeye.
character. Unfortunately, though, they're not real and those muscles don't have too much function. But other people call him bazooka arms or just Ruki Basuki, which is what he calls himself. And Ruki is currently 29, but this whole thing just kicked off back in 2017 when he got out of the Russian military. Apparently, right after finishing his service in the army, Kirill got really interested in bodybuilding and specifically having huge arms. But instead of, you know, putting in the work like any normal person would want to do at the gym, he found out about something called Synthol. Now, Synthol, I haven't heard about it until I started researching this video, but it's a site enhancement oil that some bodybuilders use to inflate specific muscles and make them look a little bit bigger than what they actually are. The key thing to understand here, though, is that it doesn't make you stronger at all. All it does is make your muscles swell up because you're literally injecting something beneath the muscle. So
to be honest with you, like, I'm against it, but like, why not just go ahead and take steroids,
like, you
bro?
rest your bicep on your guitar for a photo, so it makes your bicep
injecting yourself with silicone, basically.
Shirt, though, but like,
that's just crazy.
The push. How can I illustrate this?
That shit got it.
So the bicep trick, right? See, I have non-existing biceps. But if you rest it on a guitar, wait, there's no difference. I don't have any bicep to raise. In theory, you could flatten it. And if you did have a bicep, it would push forward a little bit because it would be flattened. But you see, I don't have too much of a bicep, so we're cooked. Maybe I need to hop on
you know
this
he
oil.
records
Again,
videos,
psych,
for sure.
don't ever do that. Please don't ever do that. That is like literally an awful idea. It's usually made up with about 85% oil, 7.5% lidocaine, which numbs the pain, and then 7.5% alcohol to help prevent infections. But unfortunately, Kirill here, he didn't even bother getting the actual product. He just whipped up his own homemade version, mixing olive oil with lidocaine and benzyl alcohol in whatever ratios he felt like,
made a household concoction.
And honestly, that just sounds like an awful idea. Why would you ever use
the
original thing, especially to that kind of degree?
He's injecting himself, or is he getting somebody he mixes the shit up himself and then get somebody else to do it for him? Either way it goes, it's fucking insane.
That's what he did on his two arms. That alone. Okay, why you would do that, that's crazy. But why you would make your homemade cocktail like that and then inject yourself with that much? Come on. That should have been extraordinarily obvious. It was only going to end badly. So I guess he just started injecting this mixture directly into his arms.
You get what you get, my boy.
He used about 250 milliliters, thinking that would be enough. But when his arms only grew by 1 or 2 inches, he wasn't satisfied with the results. So his solution was to keep injecting more and more. Awesome. In an interview from back then, Kirill explained the whole process, saying that in order to reach such size, you need to inject liters into your arms. I was doing it and getting a fever of up to 40 degrees. I was lying in bed, feeling like I was dying. And then it all turned out fine. Okay, so this is 40 degrees Celsius, by the way, because if it was Fahrenheit, that would not be a fever. We're talking 104 fever, dude. And you didn't take that as a sign to stop? buddy.
Stupidity.
Okay. I mean, I only had 104 degrees Fahrenheit after injecting my arms with some like homemade cocktail fluid I made. Like, oh yeah, I'm fine, obviously. But within about 10 days of starting the procedure, Kirill managed to blow his biceps from a normal size to around 23 inches in diameter. Brother, what are you doing? Like, come on. So just to put that in perspective, just from a quick Google search, most professional bodybuilders who actually train for years have biceps in the 20 to 24 inch range. This dude got to that in like 2 weeks with a syringe and some homemade goop. I don't know about you guys, but I am goop adverse. So I don't know why anyone would want to inject goop into their arms like this. But hey, whatever floats his boat, I guess.
Into a whole nother
Unfortunately for him,
meaning,
though, he wasn't done, since he said he wouldn't stop injecting until he hit 27 inches because that was his goal. And as his arms just got more and more cartoonishly large, people started noticing him. So he began posting content showing off his massive biceps on Instagram and other platforms, and the attention started rolling in. And the whole thing was bizarre enough for Russian media to pick up on it. People started sharing his posts, and then you start getting like the posts that I guess I saw a couple of years ago of like, this Russian man has these crazy large fake biceps, and you're like, that's crazy, swipe. I don't know. I never went and did any more research on him. It was just kind of like, damn, that's crazy. And then you move on in your life. And that's what most people's reaction to this kind of stuff is, which is why this is not the attention you want in life, especially when it comes with this much risk. And I guess Kirill was pretty open about what his goals were from the beginning. He straight up said in an interview that he wanted to hit over 1 million followers on Instagram and then stop working entirely. Yeah, it definitely doesn't work like that, unfortunately. You can't just hit 1 million followers on Instagram and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna retire, because you would be shocked at how little money someone with 1 million followers on Instagram can actually make. It's all about your product, and he doesn't have a product. Unless he's gonna start selling his homemade goop. Imagine, Kirill's little cocktail whipped up in his garage. Here in my garage, I have this homemade goop. You too can inject it into your biceps. Like, that is just, that's horrible. No. Also, finances aside, it just sounds incredibly boring to me to be 29 years old and be like,
bro's 29 doing stupid ass shit like that is crazy.
I don't know. But unfortunately, while Kirill was enjoying the attention and growing his following, medical professionals in Russia were growing really concerned about this, because a professor by the name of Evgeny Lilin, they were pretty straight up and just said, hey, amputation might not happen immediately, but it's very likely if he keeps this up, because this isn't good. He explained that abscesses would eventually develop, followed by inflammation, and that Kirill would be in serious risk of having a stroke. However, even if Kirill completely stopped injecting himself right then and then, all the stuff that he'd already put into his arms, it wouldn't just like magically disappear. That'll all stay in his muscle tissue for 5 to 7 years, apparently. That's what I found. I don't really see how all of that just goes away. I feel like that's kind of there forever, but hey, I'm no medical professional. So I guess the damage was already done,
he's
and
already
would continue
29,
causing problems for years, regardless of what he did next. And another doctor described the inside of Kirill's arms as having pathologically changed tissues that look like jelly with insertions, and said they were essentially abscesses made up of either oil or blood from vessels that have been damaged by all the injections. But despite that, he kept going. He's a mad lad. Like, why? Why would you keep going? I guess because
he kept going. I ain't gonna lie, I thought I was gonna get some different information here where he finally decided to stop. But this dude kept going is wow, brother. Like, he got a death wish at that point, you know what I mean? Or the fame was just getting to his head, just the attraction, because no matter what, people really don't care about the fame, long as if it's good, bad, whatever, they don't care. Notoriety's the same in certain people's eyes, no matter what. So
he hadn't reached his goal yet of 27-inch biceps. But of course, it gets worse, because for some reason, he decided he was going to get into fighting. I guess if you're using like cartoon logic, wow, he has big arms, I guess he'll be good at fighting, except there's no muscles there. Because, you know, as I mentioned earlier,
got packed up on his first
doesn't
fight.
actually do anything for your strength. It just makes your muscles look big while providing zero functional benefit. If anything, it weighs you down and makes you a bigger target. Not to mention, you know, having the liability of a bunch of toxic fluid in your arms, that can't be good. So if someone's punching your arms and you have toxic fluid, that just sounds like even worse cocktail for disaster. So when Kirill, I guess, stepped into the ring in October 2019 to fight
what the fuck, brother? What the fuck? That dude finna beat the shit out of him. I ain't gonna lie to you. he finna snuff you the fuck out. You're probably gonna be in a fetal position somewhere, bro. Like, what is this? Bro thought this hard ass haircut was it though. I ain't gonna lie to you. He thought this shit was sweet. He was like, yeah, this shit gonna fuck him up right here. Intimidation
blogger by
tactic
name
at
of
his
Oleg
finest.
Mongol, things
That
went
shit
poorly
ain't finna
pretty
hurt
much
you.
immediately. At the time, Oleg was 43 years old, literally twice
Damn.
Kirill's age, and he absolutely destroyed him. And the fight
got
lasted
whooped by
about
an
3
OG.
minutes total before Kirill tapped out after getting held down and choked. And that was basically the end of his MMA fighting career there. But he wasn't completely done with fighting, because then he signed
went
up
straight
to
into
a
MMA. He coulda
face-slapping
went to
competition
boxing
against a
first.
guy by the name of Vasily Kadmovsky. And this guy was apparently Russia's champion at slapping people in the face. So obviously that went
He got
terribly.
into
Kirill
slap
came out
contest?
barely
Nah,
conscious and
bro.
was barely able to stand. But by late 2019, the situation was so bad that Kirill couldn't really ignore it anymore.
Where's the
That's when the
clips?
Russian model and activist named Alana Maveva got involved. Alana worked with people who had botched plastic surgery and cosmetic procedures, and when she saw what Kirill had done to himself, she decided to help him out. She started raising money to get him proper medical treatment, and eventually got him set up with a surgeon at a university hospital in Moscow. And when the doctor eventually opened up Kirill's arm and looked inside, what he found was somehow even worse than what he could have expected. First off, as we mentioned earlier, he hadn't been using actual synthol like he was claiming.
They
The
finna have to
doctor discovered
amputate
that what
both of them
Kirill had
hoes.
actually been injecting was just straight petroleum jelly. So he was injecting essentially Vaseline that you buy at the drugstore that's meant to be on your skin, not under your muscle tissue. And again, unfortunately for him, he injected about 3 liters of this stuff into each arm over time.
Do
And to
y'all
make things
know what
even
3
worse, the
liters
doctor
is?
explained
3
the
liters is
petroleum
a
jelly had completely
ton.
saturated
That's a-
Kirill's muscle tissue and blocked normal blood
For
flow.
just your
As a
arm?
result, the tissue just died and got replaced by scar tissue. And the scar tissue was so dense and hard that it almost felt like wood. Apparently you could knock on it and hear a solid sound. Nice. I can't believe this guy did this to himself. Apparently though, during the first surgery, which took about 2 hours, the doctor managed to remove about 3 pounds of this damaged tissue and petroleum jelly mixture from one of Kirill's arms. And that was about 25% of the total damaged material that needed to come out. He said that Kirill would need multiple additional operations to remove the rest, and that each surgery was complicated because of all the important nerves and arteries that were tangled up in the mass of the scar tissue and the Vaseline. And around that same time, he also revealed that his first plan was way more ambitious. He originally
He had
wanted
something
to
more
inject this
way
stuff
crazier
into
than
other
that?
parts of his body as well, but stopped when his arms had, some serious problems. And honestly, that
Yeah,
might have
facts,
actually
thank
been the
God.
first reasonable
Holy.
decision I've seen him make. But it came out that Kirill had spent something like $15,000 on various cosmetic procedures, including facial fillers. And this is apparently all because he thought it was impossible.
I'm confused. He spent 15K on facial shit and everything else. Some big ass fucking BBL lips. Like, what the fuck, dude's out of pocket for this shit. I didn't go lie. But you couldn't just pay to get some steroids, my nigga, instead of making homemade concoctions to stuff in your goddamn fucking muscles. Is crazy, bro. Just spend the money, bro. If you gonna do it, G. But that's insane, brother.
Possible for a regular guy to date attractive women without these modifications. Dude, you would be so much better off without any of these modifications. This does not make sense. This
Modifications
is
is
literally
crazy, I ain't
all in
gonna
your
lie.
head.
That's
This is
pretty
body
much what they
dysmorphia.
are, though.
I feel bad for him. His body dysmorphia will explain why he's doing all the stuff that he's doing. Because I definitely don't see the appeal in spending thousands of dollars to look like handsome Squidward, but to each their own. But real quick though, it's now Christmas
couldn't
at
said
Mad
any
City, as
better,
we just
right?
dropped our Christmas collection over there, which
was
includes our
perfect
large
timing.
mouse mats in 3 different sizes and our large toy car mat, alongside of, all of our other cities that we've released. We started this whole concept literally
Hey,
because
you know what? I
we wanted
respect
to
the
have that
grind, G. I
nostalgic
respect the
toy
grind,
car mat
G.
of a city near you. So fast forward to June 2025, and Kirill announces that he was under the knife yet again. This time, his plan was to remove his biceps entirely. He posted pictures on Instagram showing himself with
Oh,
bandages around his left arm. And
That shit
over the
is
next few
crazy,
days, he shared more photos and videos showing the
look at his
results.
legs,
And it's
brother.
safe to say the before and after pictures of him made it
Bro
pretty
looks stiff
clear
as a
of just
motherfucker,
how
G.
much damage he accumulated over the years. Because his arms are very visibly deformed. And the video
Shit, it
showed
looked
his
painful,
range of
brother.
motion has
Oh
been
my
extremely limited. But then in November of 2025, things
Shit.
apparently got worse. Again, reports started coming out of Russia claiming that Kirill was now facing the possibility of losing both arms due to a severe infection. According According to these reports, one of
What
his
did he
biceps
expect?
had actually bursted open, leaving a hole with rotting tissue visible inside. And the claims were that he needed multiple skin graft surgeries to save his arms, but the infections had to clear up before the doctors could even perform those operations. And they suggested that time was running out and that the procedures would require a whole team of specialists, vascular, plastic, and reconstructive surgeons all working together. So apparently, after years of injecting Vaseline, that caused his tissue to develop fibrosis, and then necrosis as his body, as you would expect, rejected the foreign material. And I guess
Right.
even though he had surgery back in 2019, the infection was supposedly so severe now that the wounds wouldn't heal on their own. However, Kirill himself came out and denied these reports. He posted a video on YouTube saying this.
Привет всем снова. И сейчас снова хочу
What the
сделать
fuck?
обращение.
What the fuck, bro? Yeah, just cut him off. Just start using your feet to do everything at this point, brother. Cause like them shits is cooked, bro.
И уберечь людей от недостоверных новостей в плане меня. Сейчас снова пошла вторая волна и начали выкладывать со мной новость, что типа у меня анализы хреновые, не подходят для операции и ему ампутируют руки. Ребят, не верьте новостям, пабликам, вообще кому-либо, где это выкладывается. Они делают это для того, чтобы привлечь внимание к своим каналам.
Bro
Вот,
yapping.
со мной
Bro's
все
yapping hard as fuck
хорошо,
right now, ain't gonna lie.
анализы действительно, ну там, не прям ужасные, но годятся для операции.
So yeah, we had to auto-translate that, but essentially it was like, everything
Yeah.
is fine with me, the tests went really well, my arms are well enough for a skin graft surgery, it will happen this week. So whether the amputation risk is as immediate as some media outlets are claiming, or if things are more stable than that, I mean, it's hard to say. Who knows? He could be BSing, or they could be BSing. But at the time of the recording of this video, he's still active, and his latest post was a before and after of the removal of his procedures of his face. And honestly, it's almost unbelievable how much his
He did a lot, bro. I in the first picture, I don't know if he was trying to be a female. He must have been trying to be a female at that point. I don't know what the hell he got going on, G. But this shit is not it, G. Bro went back to a regular generated character in 2025. Like, what the fuck?
condition has improved, which
Gotcha.
goes to show you he would have been infinitely better off without doing any of this. And clearly
Yeah.
he understands that now, so there's no real reason rubbing this in. But whether this story ends with Kirill making a full recovery or dealing with more serious complications, that's still up in the air. So at the very least, what happened to him should be an extremely clear example to never do any of this to your body. There's
don't think-
literally no upside of doing
Never
what he
mind.
did, even if he did it properly.
Never.
Like, if you desperately want big arms, go pick up some dumbbells almost every day for a couple years, and then you'll have
Yes,
big
that
arms.
would be the- that
Even
would be the
if it
easiest
takes
thing.
longer and doesn't get you viral overnight. But trust me, you don't want to go viral for the reason he did. But other than that, feel free to subscribe if you're new here, drop a like if you enjoyed this video, and let me know what you think is going to happen to him in the comments down below. But other than that, I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video.
Well, there y'all got it, bro. You feel me? That is a crazy ass first reaction video to react to be honest. Shit's insane, but I gotta get a little laugh out of that though. But yeah, buddy need to pack that shit up though. You feel me? Because that shit is insane to be doing whole shit like that, bro. It's never that serious, brother. Fame or no fame, shit's crazy. But I appreciate y'all for clicking on this video, tapping in. You know what I'm saying? We'll be back with another reaction video here soon. So I'll talk to y'all then, brother. Peace.